Let's talk about clairs. Now we know there are many. You've probably heard of clairvoyance, maybe clairaudience, clairsentience, there's claircognizance, clairgusto, and a couple of others. They align to your physical senses. Sometimes you know which one is your strongest because it also aligns to which physical sense is your strongest. Maybe you have really fantastic hearing. Maybe you can see things that other people don't notice. Maybe you are very sensitive in groups. So sometimes that's how you get your heads up on which sense is stronger and therefore which clairs possibly could be stronger. But I had a really interesting question when teaching a student this week, and I thought it was brilliant. So I wanted to explain how I explained to her why we like to work with more than one clair. Now, normally when we're starting out, we will have one or two clairs that are stronger than others. Maybe the other clairs don't show up at all, or if they are, you're not noticing because the stronger clairs are so dominant. Maybe you find working with them a lot easier than working with the other clairs. So the reason why it's great to, over time, and there is no pressure because it will be guided by spirit, and also how much commitment you have to developing your clairs, they will evolve. They will come forward so you can work on them. You'll notice them more. You'll notice you'll be able to pick up certain things where you maybe could not. And they sort of shift and move until they all lock in at the same level. So let me explain. If we have one clair that is really strong, maybe we are clairvoyant, maybe we're quite visual, that one will be quite strong. We will work with that. We will feel comfortable with that. But when we want to work with something else, or when spirit determines that it's time to work with something else, what happens is sometimes that clair steps back. Maybe it's not as dominant as what it was. And that's to allow you the opportunity to move towards working on the other ones. So that's your sign that it's time to start working on the others. Sometimes that doesn't happen. It's different for everyone. Sometimes the other one you'll just start noticing things. So if you were clairvoyant and your clairaudient is starting to kick in, you may notice throbbing in your ears, you may notice ringing in your ears, you may even just notice that you're hearing things that you never noticed before. And that's your sign that it's time to start adding an additional clair to your toolbox. And that's what it is. It's basically a toolbox. Now, you would have heard me say before that communicating with spirit is like playing charades with emojis as well. So I was never great at charades. It's not my thing. So you can imagine for someone like me, it took a little while to work out how to do it. And that's okay too if you're the same. There's no race to the finish line. The finish line actually doesn't matter. It's the journey and process that matters. That's the significance. That's where the most wonderful moments will occur, where you get it, those light bulbs, those like holy hell kind of things. Sorry for the language, but that's what it's like. So it is like that. And so don't be in a rush to work all this out, because the magic really is, and what happens to your soul as you go along this process, it's during the journey that when these things happen. And that is when, as I said, those really profound soul shifting moments occur. So why rush through them to get to the end? The other thing that happens is as we go through this process, so we may have two now clairs that are quite strong. And once again, as another clair comes in, you may notice one or two sort of step to the background a little bit. But eventually, if you commit to it, and it does take commitment, all of them will kick in together at the same strength. And this is where we get a true 4D, because it's more than 3D, experience when we communicate with spirit. And the reason why I say it's more than 3D is because I have had many students say to me, I used to like working with cards. I used to like doing that type of work, and I found that I was really good at it. Maybe I got the messages I needed to. Maybe the people that I was sharing the messages with really resonated with them. So I was happy with that. And that's great as well. If that's what you love and where you want to be, no judgment here. But what I have noticed is when an opportunity is created for someone to feel the true, all facets of what energy is, reading cards and communicating on that 2D level is not enough, because you feel and you know so much what spirit can be. And so it's hard to go back. So why do we want to work with more than one Claire? As I said, if you don't want to and you're very happy with what you've got going on, more power to you. But this is the analogy that I like to use on why it's great to, over time, develop all your Clairs. Imagine going to the beach, and you go to the beach and you just sit in your car and then you close your eyes. And so you experience the beach from that perspective. Windows up, music on, eyes shut. Now, imagine going to the beach, getting out of your car, but standing near your car. This time, you've still got your eyes shut, but you can hear the ocean now. Now, imagine that you, with your eyes shut, and it was safe to do so, you walk down onto the sand with your shoes on. You can still hear the ocean. You can feel the breeze coming off the water, which is great. You know the ocean's there. You can experience the beach. But you can't feel the sand between your toes. You've got your shoes on. You can't see all the colours or what's going on in the ocean because your eyes are closed. So now you take your shoes off and you can squish your toes through the sand and you can feel all that that is. You feel the breeze on your body and you can hear the ocean. So maybe you can hear birds, maybe you can hear people swimming. And that's still great. But now you open your eyes. So now you can feel the sand. Maybe it's cool, maybe it's warm, the texture of it between your toes. You can hear the seagulls, hear the ocean. You can feel the wind on your body, that sea breeze, maybe even that sand landing on you. And now you can see. You can see the sun glistening on the waves. You can see people swimming. And you can experience the ocean and visiting the beach using all your senses. So that's what it's like with spirit. If we just have one Claire that we want to work with, doesn't mean we're not experiencing spirit. We definitely are. We're just not experiencing all that they are. That's all. So if we work on all the other Clairs, we're enabling ourselves to experience the entirety of what spirit is trying to communicate to us, what they're trying to show us, what they're trying to get us to feel, it, all of it. And that's why I encourage people to work with all their Clairs, because of everything that you can feel when you do so. So if you think that that is something that resonates with you, there is more education on my website. If you have not been there, please go across and have a look at bronwynjanemedium.com. There you will find an education tab. Explore it. Have a look at what's on there. Each week there's more things added that you can learn from. Maybe you can create a discussion internally or with others. They're invited to join me there and we can really explore more that what spirit is and the communication with spirit. Have a wonderful day.